sort of like the Play School opening or like an 80s sitcom where you sort of... I'm Leigh Sales, and this is my life in books. The book that most influenced my childhood, I would say, would be Nancy Drew, because my best friend Mandy and I always had tons of adventures around our neighbourhood, and it was inspired by Nancy Drew and her Offsiders, and also probably Trixie Belden and her Offsider Honey. And so we were always looking for mysteries around the neighbourhood and having adventures. Sadly, our own neighbourhood was very boring. We didn't derail any robberies or murders, but we like to try. The first book that made me cry, I can't be entirely certain, but I suspect strongly that it would have been The Never-Ending Story by Michael Ende, when the horse Artax sinks in the swamp. Oh my God! Who would do that in a child's book? Oh God, I still feel traumatised by it. The book I wish that I had most written, I mean, there's just so many, and for so many different reasons I wish I'd written them, but I would say probably The Spare Room by Helen Garner, because I just thought it was the perfect novel. It just sort of ripped along, and it also had her inimitable writing style, and it was both sad and also at times made me laugh, and it was very relatable, and it was the kind of book when I got to the end I closed it and I thought, oh, I could have thought of that, I could have done that, which to me is always the sign of something that there is absolutely no way in the world you could have done, but it's so well executed that for some reason it seems like it's achievable. And to me that's always the mark of a really, really good piece of work. The book that made me want to be an author, I would say, again, harks back to childhood, probably just any of the works of Enid Blyton, because I read them so much when I was a kid, and it just made me absolutely love reading, and it was just so magical to be transported into a different universe. And I think that sort of, those books sparked my imagination, and as a kid made me do lots of creative writing, and then I think sort of lit the match, I guess, that made me want to have a stab at writing things myself. The book I most often quote, I don't know that I necessarily quote it, but I certainly refer to it a lot, and that is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which I only read, even though it's a very old book, I only read it a couple of years ago. He was a Holocaust survivor and a psychoanalyst who wrote this incredibly amazing book about the experience of being in the Holocaust. And here's something I prepared earlier because I wanted to read you a little quote out of it. One of the lines that really stuck with me was, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." The book I most often give as a gift would be The Cook's Companion by Stephanie Alexander. I remember I was given that book as a gift, and when I first got it I thought, oh, I'm never going to use this because I don't like a cookbook that doesn't have pictures in it, and it doesn't. And how wrong I was, because it is the most useful cookbook. It has an incredible index and a very useful thing where it'll say this ingredient goes with blah, 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 blah. So you can sort of look in your pantry and work out what you've got and how it'll all fit together. And I've never made a recipe out of it that hasn't been absolutely fantastic. The ginger cake is just to die for, and the lasagna is the best lasagna that you can ever eat in your life. So The Cook's Companion is my gift of choice.